He made a career in the commercial banking sector spanning several years. He was later appointed by President Umaru Musa Yaradua as governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. When he left the central bank, he was installed by the kingmakers in Kano as the Emir of Kano. As Emir, he wielded great influence in his kingdom and beyond. He was expected to occupy the throne till death, in line with the tradition of his people. His name, His Highness Muhammad Sanusi II, most popularly known as Sanusi Lamido Sanusi. In this edition of Back in History, we bring to you the story of his birth, his parentage, his education, his career, his enthronement as Emir of Kano, his eventual dethronement, his refusal to contest the dethronement in court, his life in exile, his achievements, and many more. Welcome to this edition of Back in History. Sanusi Lamido Sanusi was born on 31st July 1961 in Kano to a ruling class family of the Sulubawa clan. His father was Muhammad Aminu Sanusi. His father was of the royal blood. His father was a diplomat who served as Nigeria's ambassador to Belgium, China, and Canada. He later served as permanent secretary in Nigeria's Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Emir Sanusi's father was thus a well-educated and highly exposed man. His mother was Saudatu Andua Hussein. Sanusi's grandfather was Muhammad Sanusi I. His grandfather served as the 11th Emir of Kano. Emir Sanusi I occupied the traditional seat of Emir from 1953 to 1963. With the history of previous occupation of the throne by his grandfather, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi was a potential occupant of the same stool, being a member of the royal blood. It is reported that as a young boy, Sanusi grew up and played around in the palace of his granduncle, Emir Adobayero, who was the occupant of the seat of Emir of Kano for over 50 years. The young Sanusi learnt a lot of morals from his close affinity to the uncle and to the activities in the palace. Like many children of his time and of his part of Nigeria, Sanusi received early Islamic education at home, where he learnt from the Quran and the traditions of the Muslim faith. He then attended St. Anne's Primary School, a Catholic boarding school in Kaduna, before proceeding to King's College, Lagos from 1973 to 1977. He thereafter proceeded to Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, where he studied and earned a degree in economics in 1981. He thereafter enrolled in the National Youth Service Corps, where he was posted to serve as a teacher in an all-girls boarding school in Yola in present-day Adamawa State. After his national service, he returned to the university where he studied for a master's degree in economics. He was returned as a lecturer in the Department of Economics, but he only lectured for 2 years. Sanusi later moved to Khartoum, where he read Islamic studies at the International University of Africa. In 1985, Sanusi began his banking career with Icon Limited, a subsidiary of Barings Bank and Morgan Guarantee Trust. He rose to become the head of financial services and manager of the office in Kano. In 1997, he joined the United Bank for Africa, working in the Credit and Risk Management Division. Here, he rose through the ranks to the position of General Manager of the bank. In 2005, Sanusi became a board member and executive director in charge of risk management at First Bank of Nigeria, Nigeria's oldest bank and one of Africa's largest financial institutions. In January 2009, Sanusi became the chief executive officer of First Bank. He did his job creditably as the head of the bank. In June 2009, Sanusi was nominated as governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria by President Umaru Musa Yaradua, and his name was forwarded to the National Assembly for confirmation. Sanusi Lamido appeared before the Senate and responded satisfactorily to the questions to which he was asked. He served President Yaradua until Yaradua's untimely death. Yaradua was succeeded by his vice, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, who returned Sanusi in his government in the same capacity as Central Bank Governor. As Governor of the Central Bank, Sanusi introduced a number of policies that assisted immensely in the growth of Nigeria's banking sector and also restored confidence to the sector. His reforms were built around 4 pillars, namely, enhancing the quality of banks, establishing financial stability, enabling healthy financial sector evolution, and ensuring that the financial sector contributes to the real economy. It was Sanusi who started the cashless policy, which is still in operation in Nigeria till today. Sanusi also introduced and supported the establishment of Islamic banking in Nigeria, a move which was seriously criticized by several groups in the country, including the Christian Association of Nigeria. While in the central bank, Sanusi attracted controversy to himself on a couple of issues. He came out openly to say that the National Assembly of Nigeria takes as much as 25% of the annual budget of Nigeria through the payment of salaries and allowances to them. He added that no country can grow in such situation. The National Assembly got infuriated by this comment. Sanusi also attracted controversy when he advised the federal government of Nigeria to stop the payment of subsidy for petroleum products for reason that the payment of subsidy was draining the Nigerian government and economy every day. The call for removal of subsidy was met with serious criticism from citizens, followed by a loud call for his resignation. He also raised eyebrows when, as Central Bank Governor in December 2013, Sanusi wrote a memo to President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan to inform the president that the Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) failed to remit $48.9 billion of government oil revenue to the central bank. The memo leaked and found its way to the public space. Sanusi was criticized by a segment of the Nigerian society, mostly the people in power, but he was applauded by many others for exhibition of rare courage in public service. The government of President Goodluck Jonathan ordered an investigation into the allegation of the central bank governor. And the investigation, among others, queried the claims of Mr. Sanusi and described it as largely unsubstantiated. In the aftermath of this, Sanusi was suspended from the office of central bank governor on the orders of President Jonathan in February 2014. One of the deputy governors of the central bank at the time, Mrs. Sarah Alade, was appointed by the president to take over from Sanusi, pending the forwarding of a name to the Senate for confirmation as substantive governor of the bank. Sanusi left the office and began a private life. During this time, the then Emir of Kano, Emir Bayero, passed on to the great beyond. Emir Bayero was a grand uncle to Sanusi. He had been on the throne for more than 50 years and thus became one of the longest serving monarchs in the history of Nigeria. Emir Bayero has seen Nigeria in different epochs and had played host to several presidents of the country, both military and civilian. He was highly respected at home and abroad. Emir Bayero was buried in accordance with Islamic rites, and his funeral was attended by thousands of sympathizers from within and outside the country. Following the interment of the remains of the late Emir Bayero, the next procedure by tradition was the selection, presentation, and installation of a new emir for the emirates. The late Emir Bayero had male children who were bona fide members of the royal blood and who were qualified to succeed their late father to the throne of emir. There was also the immediate past governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, who was equally of the royal blood and whose grandfather, Emir Muhammadu Sanusi I, had also occupied the throne several decades back. The politics of succession thus began and became very intense. On 8 June 2014, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi emerged as a new Emir of Kano. He was congratulated by many at home and abroad. Many said that with his education and exposure in the banking sector, spanning several years, and in the public sector, particularly at the Central Bank of Nigeria, Emir Sanusi was eminently qualified to ascend the throne and possibly introduce fresh air into the ancient emirates. His ascension was, however, seen as being politically motivated by some persons, alleging that the then governor of Kano State, Rabiu Kwankwaso, had interfered with the king-making process in favor of Sanusi. Many expected Bayero's son to succeed him as emir. There were protests from the supporters of Bayero's son, but despite the protests to Sanusi's election, the process went on, and on 9th June 2014, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi was crowned the second Muhammadu Sanusi II and entrusted with the keys of the ancient kingdom. By his enthronement, Sanusi became the 57th Emir of Kano. In the hierarchy of Islamic traditional rulers in Nigeria, the Sultan of Sokoto is the number 1, while the Shehu of Borno is number 2. The Emir of Gwandu is number 3, while the Emir of Kano is number 4. Sanusi Lamido thus joined these high-ranking rulers upon his ascension to the throne. Sanusi remained on this throne for 6 years before he was unexpectedly dethroned during the tenure of Governor Ganduje as governor of Kano State. Unlike others before him who were conservative rulers, Sanusi was not conservative. He spoke frequently to the media and also bore his mind in writing and at public events whenever he was invited to speak. He criticized the government repeatedly of embarking on misplaced priorities. In particular, he criticized the government of Kano State under the leadership of Ganduje very frequently. In 2017, the Emirate Council was under investigation for financial irregularities. Many saw this as retribution over comments he made against the state government. The investigation was later called off by the state legislature following intervention by the ruling class. In 2019, Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje signed into law the creation of 4 new emirates, namely Bichi Emirate, Rano Emirate, Gaya Emirate, Karaye Emirate. This unprecedented move saw the partitioning of Sanusi's traditional domain. According to the law, out of the 44 local government areas in Kano State, Sanusi as Emir of Kano was to preside over only 10 local government areas, with the remaining apportioned to the new emirates. By the creation of new emirates, new emirs were created. Many saw this move as a deliberate ploy by the government at the time to reduce what the government viewed as the increasing worrisome influence of Emir Sanusi. But Emir Sanusi was undaunted. He continued in voicing out his views against the government of Ganduje. This did not go down well with the government and its supporters. In March 2020, the Kano State House of Assembly began a new investigation against Emir Sanusi on allegation of violation of, quote, traditional practices. The investigation became intensified, and on 9th March 2020, Emir Sanusi was dethroned by Governor Abdullahi Ganduje. It is reported that Emir Sanusi was in his private residence in Gidan Rumfa when he learned of his removal. The story of the dethronement of Sanusi Lamido as Emir of Kano was a shocker to many. This was the second time an emir was dethroned in Sanusi's family, his grandfather Muhammadu Sanusi I having been earlier dethroned in 1963 by Sir Ahmadu Bello, the then premier of the northern region of Nigeria. Sanusi later accepted his dethronement as a divinely ordered action and urged his supporters to remain calm and avoid bloodshed. By tradition, a deposed emir cannot be allowed to continue to live in Kano. A deposed emir must be sent on exile. Sanusi was thus sent on exile from Kano to Nasarawa State. On 10th March, he was relocated from Loko in Nasarawa State via police helicopter to Awi, a remote local government area in the state. Aggrieved by the forced exile, Sanusi's lawyers approached the court on his behalf. A suit was then filed alleging a breach of his fundamental rights. On 13th March 2020, the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja ordered the immediate release of Sanusi. Following the court's order, he left Awi in the company of his friend Governor Nasir El-Rufai of Kaduna State and relocated to his house in Lagos State in southwest Nigeria. Sanusi Lamido Sanusi has severally insisted that he should be addressed as Emir Sanusi, notwithstanding his dethronement. According to him, there is no former living emir. When at a public gathering in Kaduna State on the invitation of his friend Governor Nasir El-Rufai, a master of ceremony introduced him as the former Emir of Kano, Sanusi took serious exception and reiterated that an emir remains an emir till death. The master of ceremony received a serious reprimand from the governor, who was Sanusi's host. Emir Sanusi has also stated that he will not challenge his dethronement in any court. He has added that he has accepted the dethronement as an act of God, which could only be made possible on the approval of his creator. He has since receded into his private life and now focuses on public speaking, writing, and academic pursuits. He is reported to be undergoing a PhD in Islamic law at the University of London in the United Kingdom at the time of the making of this video. Sanusi Lamido serves as Independent Non-Executive Director, MTN Group, Vice Chairman of Kaduna Investment Promotion Agency, Chancellor of the Kaduna State University, among other very important positions held by him. He is a Commander of the Order of the Niger, CON, one of the awards of distinction in service awarded by the government of Nigeria to deserving persons. Emir Sanusi is married with children. Thanks for watching this episode of Back in History, and do remember So subscribe to the channel or follow the page for regular notifications on every new video.